This is DHS Unplugged.
Good day, viewers. I welcome you all to another episode of DHS Unplugged podcast, where we bring to you happenings around the world of football. I remain your host, Deji, and I have in the studio with me, as usual, Henry and Seun.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Yeah, Seun, good to have you in the studio today.
Yeah,
Henry, nice to have you in the studio today. So, but before we start, I want to believe that, this last weekend, it was such a very interesting weekend because, we had a lot of, surprises, upsets regarding the result and many more. Before we deep dive for that show, I just want to quickly take what's your reaction about what really happened in the world of football last week?
I mean, I enjoy everything that happened. United won, so it's a win. And as a United Ronaldo fan, as a Messi, Messi rival, so it's a bad week for Messi fans, Messi FC. Barcelona played 1-1 draw. Guardiola lost. Inter Miami's Messi also lost 3-0 in final. So, I mean, it's a good week for me. Yeah. So I enjoy everything that happened.
Wow. Henry, what about you?
Definitely was interesting, especially with the upsets. But yeah, I think this is usually what happens every season. You get the first few games, the big teams are winning, and then gradually the upsets start to come in. So I think we are getting gradually to see all the teams in their better form, I would say. So I think it was good for the world of football to have this upset here and there.
Wow, that's really amazing. So let's quickly go into the English Premier League. Let's talk about the result, about last week's games. As we all know, Chelsea won 2-0 against Fulham. Also, we have Manchester City lost away from home, 1-2 to Brighton. While we also have Manchester United, dramatic win over Burnley, 3-2. Then also Everton winning away from home, 3-2 against Wolves. Also, we have Tottenham, losing at home to Bournemouth, 0-1. And also we have the star match of the week, Liverpool against Arsenal. Liverpool won 1-0. But before we go into it, I just quickly want to ask you, Seun, what can you say about the free kick goal by Szoboszlai against Arsenal?
I was expecting the goal, to be honest.
Do you think Raya could actually done better?
Yeah, I feel like he could have done better. He stood far away from the wall. Maybe he was thinking it's just like 32 yards. There's no way he's going to score from there. So when he placed the wall, he went too far away from the wall. He could have stayed in the middle. If he had stayed in the middle, he would have saved the ball. So I think it's David Raya's fault. Him now coming out to blame the new ball because he was like, it's because of the new ball, the Puma ball, that there's a way the ball moves. So I feel like he is his own mistake. He should go on it with his full chest.
Well, Henry, let's talk about this Arsenal Liverpool. Do you, just like action, do you think Raya could have saved the goal? And also, what's your overall rating of Arsenal performance against Liverpool?
I mean, contrary to Seun's opinion, I think initially he stood far from the wall, but before before Szoboszlai took that free kick, if you watch carefully, he moved 2 steps. So
far away.
He was literally behind
steps, and you still couldn't save the ball. That means you were too far away.
No, he was literally behind the last man on the wall. Like, you just need to stay behind the last man.
I think I would say maybe it's a miscalculation from Raya, I would say.
Why would you say it's a miscalculation? I don't understand.
Just like Seun said, he shouldn't have I think it was just poor positioning, because if you have positioned himself really well, with 2 steps that he took before the free kick, he would have been able to save the goal.
I think he underestimated.
I don't think you guys understand what happened. So he stood in that position just to bait Szoboszlai into taking a shot or whatever. Before he kicked the ball, he moved 2 steps already to be in the normal position that he should be. And that position he was behind the last man on the wall. So that means if you stay behind that man, you can't see the ball.
Of course.
Yeah, if you stay behind that man, you can't see the ball. So the only time you can see the ball is when the ball has moved over the wall.
Okay, now let me ask you, Sean Henry, don't you think that if you had actually stayed at the right position before Soboslai even attempted to kick the ball, maybe that would have been better? And also, that might even be like a mind game. Maybe Soboslai might even try to, play the ball to another direction.
There's no way Soboslai is playing into the next post.
Exactly.
If he had stayed in the middle of the post, I feel like counting 2 steps.
If you say mind game, I can understand. But from the moment that ball was struck, there was no way Raya would have stayed in a better position. From the moment he hit the ball, Raya was in the perfect position he needed to be. It was a perfect free kick. It was a perfect free kick.
Of course, it's a well-taken free kick. I agree.
Why would you say you underestimated?
He underestimated him because I feel like he felt the 32 yards is like a far distance. Like there's no way.
It was actually a far distance, but like he stood in the position where he needed to be. It was just a perfect. The only disadvantage I would say is that Raya is not Courtois in terms of size. If you had said Courtois might have saved it because he has a longer frame. That's the only thing I could say. But for the height that Raya has, he could not have saved that free kick. If he stood behind the wall, he wouldn't have seen the ball till the ball moved behind the wall, and it had so much power and precision that he still wouldn't have saved it. The only way you could have saved that free kick was if there was no wall completely. And then you stood in the middle of the goal. Just wait there.
Or maybe you should have reduced the number of walls.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably. If there was no wall, then you could see the ball from the hole. You can decide to stay in the middle of the goal. But if you have a wall there, then that obviously your view is blocked from one side. So you cannot stay behind the wall. You have to stay just behind the last man so you can at least have a view of the ball. Then you can know what direction the ball is going to. There was nothing he could do for that free kick. It only happens once in every 2 years.
Okay. Aside the free kick, just like I said, what do you think of Arsenal overall performance? Do you think the approach he had for the game, do you think that really worked, or don't you feel maybe he should have let the Arsenal team be more offensive and go out all out against Liverpool? Maybe with that they might have secured at least a point from the game.
I hear pundits and I hear fans saying, yeah, he should play Odegaard. If he plays Odegaard, they say, no, don't play Odegaard. He's trash. He's not good enough. Play this person. Don't play Martinelli. Play Trossard. If he plays Trossard, he's too slow.
That's why he's the manager. He should be able to make the right decision.
He's decisive enough. So what do you want him to do? Like, literally, if he played Odegaard in that game, and obviously he would have ghosted, usually like he does every time they go to Anfield, he will ghost, and then they will say, he's not creative enough, play Eze. Eze came in, he had a great chance, he didn't score.
I mean, that's his first game.
Yeah, his first game, so meaning he completely forgot how to play football because that's his first game. Like, I don't understand.
I mean, I'm trying to say you can cut him in some slack. Like, that's his first game with the Arsenal players.
Unfortunately, like, football has no time for slack. Ekitike scored in his first game. I don't know what you're saying. He scored in his first 10 minutes. He scored in his first 10 minutes.
What I felt Arteta did wrong was he started with 3 defensive midfielders in the midfield, no attacking player.
Who would they have played?
That's why you should have started Odegaard.
Odegaard?
Yeah, you should have, at least
the same Odegaard that they've been crying out to take him out.
He was still
create more
chances.
He only had
shoulder injury.
Yeah,
it was to be hamstring.
Obviously, he's not fit enough to play 90 minutes in that game. And the intensity of the game in the first half is usually always higher. So obviously, he must have
looked at that. Then he could have started Trossard. Trossard could play as a 10 also.
Trossard?
Yeah, he could play as a 10. Then you start Martinelli. We should also put some blame on Martinelli. Martinelli was playing against a makeshift right back in Szoboszlai, and he couldn't do anything right in that game. So 45 minutes, he should have stopped Martinelli out, but he waited for a long time before he stopped him. So Arteta, the game is Arteta.
The truth is, Martinelli.
So you're putting the blame on the manager now?
On the manager, of course.
Henry, do you agree to that? That's the game. It's all Arteta's fault.
Arsenal where they had a lot of injuries. They had Saka out. Odegaard was not fit. Saliba got out in the first 5 minutes. Even though I don't think Saliba's absence made much of a difference because Mosquera was so good that you didn't even notice that Saliba was absent. However, Saka being out of that game,
Noni Madueke actually tried.
But his final ball is I think he has the same problem Martinelli has. They run and they don't look up.
At least he was actually getting ball.
He was
taking
really
players
direct.
on.
Just like-
Actually, he was actually
Doku.
out of the game. He absolutely did nothing.
It was
Yeah.
really direct, yes, I agree. However, when he got to the box, that's raising your head
He
up
was
and
winning
picking that
corners.
pass.
If you ask now, FC.
Picking that-
They win corner now.
Picking that pass out was a problem.
This for like first half, Arsenal had like 7 or 6 corners. Maybe that was
But
actually
what's-
their game
but
plan.
what's
So,
the- what's the-
yeah,
what's-
Arsenal-
what's the end
Arsenal-
result of all these corners now?
It's not everything that will be like United. So,
Okay. Thank you for your submission, Sheon and Henry. Now let's talk about Manchester City, Brighton. Sheon, let me start from you. Because they are your neighbors.
Yeah.
So,
Noisy neighbors.
what do you think is actually wrong with present Man City squad? Because if you look at the game, I think, to me, if you ask me, I will say that the defense was very terrible. With the way they play, I never expected that a Manchester City squad led by Guardiola we defend so shabbily like that. So what's your reaction to the defeat?
I think Guardiola being Guardiola is what actually killed the game. That's what happened when you overthink a lot, and when you buy too many players, then you started having selection headache. Last week you had Ruben Diaz and John Stones as your centre back. Yesterday now you started John Stones and Kunano or something. You started rotating your defense line again. You bench your keeper. You are using Trafford. So that's the mistake he has made.
goalkeeper actually
He actually tries. I'm not saying like the way he rotates team. If you have a winning 11, leave them. You don't have to rotate team. But because they have too many
Don't
squad,
you think it's
But the
because?
team last
Don't you
week
think
didn't
it's because?
They didn't
Don't
win.
you
I
think
know,
it's
I'm just
because the
saying-
season is still very early? Because to me, I would say maybe till
you have
like
to stick.
even up to like the 5th game of the season, you can still do some try and error. I would say because it's a long season.
I know, but you have Ruben Diaz and John Stones. The partnership, they understand each other. You don't have to change it. Then you bring another. Mind you, this guy, he barely used this guy last season. This Klonanov guy that he put there yesterday. So I think the partnership between that guy and John Stones actually affected them in that game yesterday. So I think he has to stick with your centre backs and let them, okay, fine, we had the starting 11. Maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Henry, what's your reaction to the game?
If you know Pep Guardiola, you will know that he only has a starting 11 usually from December or January. He rotates and chops his team until December or January, and then they go on a 17-game run. He then has a fixed team.
Let him keep
That's what
losing.
he does every
Let him
year.
keep losing points.
He does every year. However, the difference is that in those previous years, they didn't drop as much points, even with the rotation. And I don't see, for me personally, I don't see a problem with him chopping and changing with them.
Something is actually missing in this present
I think-
Manchester City
I think that
squad.
the players are
Because
not good.
people used to say maybe because when Rodri is back, the team is going to get back to shape. Now Rodri is back. What is the
They
issue?
started and they lost.
I don't think Rodri was the only problem. I think progressively the team has been weakened over the years.
But they made some new signings. This
They've
season. So what's
replaced.
happening?
They've replaced quality players. They've
Replaced Mahrez with Savinho. They've replaced Sterling, that was so good at that point, and Sane. They've replaced them with Grealish, and then he even dropped it down to Doku. Like, the players have been progressively downgraded over the years. If you look at
I
them,
don't know his obsession
quality-
with this Oscar Bob guy.
the quality is
to give him a chance, the quality has not been. It's not the same. If you want to be honest, the quality with what they had before, it's not the same. They completely don't have. They don't have a right back right now. They play Matheus Nunes.
How much
right
has he
back.
spent in the transfer window?
They play Matheus Nunes. You can't even
We
compare.
go into January again, spend another 300
Yeah.
million pounds.
You can't even compare that to.
But it's actually
But
everything spending
I
money.
don't think they spend more than
Even
Man U.
Manchester United,
Have they
Liverpool,
spent more than
everybody's
Man U?
spending money.
Have they spent more than United? I don't think so.
Maybe
I
it's
think Man U have
probably
even spent
closer.
more.
Yeah.
It's closer.
So, like the quality of the players have not been. They've not been that great. I would say they've gotten a couple of players, but they've not been that great. I think that maybe also Guardiola has come to the end of his time. I think he's mentally exhausted. He's drained.
You
I
think he needs a break, right?
I think he needs a break from football. I think he needs a sabbatical for like a year. Just go out, take care of your family, take care of yourself. I think it has been too much for him, and he needs a break. He looks. You look at him on the bench, and he looks stressed. He doesn't look the same.
Okay,
we
thank
did.
you. So, okay,
end of that
let's talk about Manchester United dramatic win over Burnley. 3-2. But Shane, before I take your reaction, okay, no, let me start with Henry. Henry, okay, no, let me start with you. Shane, before I take your reaction to the game, as a Manchester United fan, when you had that penalty, were you having the same thought that maybe Bruno Fernandes can kick to Saudi Arabia this time around, or what exactly was going through your mind? I would like to know.
I mean, it's football, it's penalty. Anything can happen. So, but I was hoping that he would score the penalty, and he actually scored. So I knew, I mean, he would have learned from what happened last week. So, thank God.
Then I think I had like some people were like maybe the penalty was so soft, it was not really a penalty. Do you think you guys robbed Burnley for the victory?
It was a penalty. The guy pulled his jersey. So why would you do that inside the box? He should have left Ahmad for the next defender to have blocked him in front.
It was not even going close to the ball.
Exactly.
Why did you pull him? So it was a penalty.
Okay, now my final question for you now, Sean.
Yes.
Considering how active you guys are in the transfer market, bringing Kuya, bringing
we signed
almost 300 million.
Now you just signed a goalkeeper, now not
almost 300 million.
So now what I'm saying is that that's what actually led me to this question. What exactly would you say is wrong with Manchester United? Do you think?
Wait. Before you say you're not active, you signed Sesko for 75. You signed Liverpool for 76.
What do you mean by you're not active? Okay, now.
Yeah, we're actually active.
They spent a lot. So now.
I take back my I forgot we signed Sesko.
So now tell me, what do
yeah.
you think is actually the problem of you guys? And are you still so confident that you guys still have what it takes to turn the season around?
Okay. I mean, yeah, we've signed 3 players. I feel like we are still missing some key position. So let me take you back to the first game of the season against Arsenal. See this first goal they scored from a free corner. Our keeper was so dumped with area duel. The same mistake he made it in the second game. Now let's go to the Grimsby game. It was Andre Onana. See the same mistake he made.
But now you guys have finally gotten a goalkeeper.
Now we've gotten a goalkeeper. That means we've solved. I won't say we've solved because I don't know what that one will turn out to be. But really, so far so good from his compilation I've seen. I think
Onana was having the same compilation before he came. He was the best goalkeeper in the Champions League.
Yeah, that year. Yeah, sure.
Based on stats. No, Onana had a good defense backup.
No, he even had a good save percentage. He had a good save.
But for what I've seen with this guy,
he's not seen anything. He only saw stats.
Okay, wait. So
have you seen him in goal?
I've seen him in a match. I've seen. No, I mean I watched some highlights. Of course, I know if you want to tell people players, they will make the best.
Have you seen Anthony on YouTube?
Okay. Now, Shane, let me ask you the final question before I move on to Harry. Now, I want to ask you, just like every Manchester United fan, you guys are really happy that you won last weekend, right?
Why won't we be happy? It's 3 points.
And don't you think struggling to win at home against Burnley?
But I mean, a win is a win. I'll take it any day, anytime. If you keep winning like that at the end of the season,
you can't keep winning like that.
I'm just saying. If you say that, I'm really happy. Why would I be happy? We took 3 points. Why would I be happy?
So Henry,
if they had beaten, what would have happened?
So Henry, now what's your take? Looking at the game 3-2 against Burnley, in terms of the way Manchester United played, the way Burnley also played, and what can you say of this present Manchester United squad?
I think they played well in the first 30 minutes or something of the game, or 35 minutes.
Actually, the first half.
However, they were not able to. They had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 good, really good chances. I think one was Ahmad, and I think one was Mbeumo had a couple of half chances that she should have, being in the Mbeumo that we knew at Brentford, he would have probably put one of those 2 chances away. But somehow it didn't go in. But I think Ahmad had the best chance. He should have scored at least that one. Should have been at least 1 goal at halftime. And maybe that would have been a different game entirely. But Burnley came in the second half, and that's the Premier League. The game is the teams are so much alive that you can't afford to rest on, we played well in the first half, we should go out and get the result in the second half. It doesn't always work that way. And Burnley came out in the second half. I tell you what, at some point in that game, I felt like Man U lost control. They were getting tired. They were really lucky that they got that goal in the end. They were really that penalty. They were lucky that it came in the end.
That was due to the coach.
It was just it was going to be a comfortable draw for Burnley. Like there was even not much pressure apart from maybe Sheshko heading over. There was really nothing coming at the end of the game. It turned into a drab game towards the end. I think they were tired. They exhausted so much. They expended so much energy in the first half that they didn't have much in the tank for the second half. But they were really, really lucky that they got that goal. But again, 3 points. It's 3 points. But the behavior of the United players, Fernandes and Dalot, right at the end there was very disgraceful.
What do you mean? It's very disgraceful.
They were taunting.
What do you mean?
Players. I think the salary of
Dalot
Dalot
on Wednesday.
The salary of Dalot.
Did you say anything like that?
That's why you
What
have
do you
class.
mean?
And that's
What
why
does it mean?
That's why you have class. And that's why you should be Manchester
Don't tell me
United.
that.
And I think
it's not that it's
Ferguson-
football.
Ferguson
This guy
being
just
alive-
lost from. This guy just lost from a 4th division. This thing. So they won a 10-minute game. So that they don't react. There's no way they won't react.
Ferguson being alive right now and seeing this from the players, it would have been appalling
Wait, last week.
if he was the manager.
Last week, Barcelona played against Levante, the team that just came back from relegation. They
Rayo
scored,
Vallecano.
right? No, it was Levante, right?
This last
3-2.
weekend?
No, not last
Okay,
week. Last
okay,
week.
the power, yeah.
They won 3-2. The way they jubilated. See the way they jubilated.
Yeah. 3 points is always 3 points. That's what really
The same
matters.
thing
I
happened
agree.
with Napoli this week also. They scored a dime in 95-minute goal.
But it's not about the celebration now. That was not the point.
It's
Nobody
part of
was
it.
arguing
It's
about
part of the game.
They had a goal kick. And they were taunting the
And it
player.
was last minute. Imagine that. Okay,
They were taunting the player.
Imagine that ball has led to corner and they use the corner to score.
Okay,
Anything,
okay.
you have to be happy.
Okay,
You have
wait.
to
It was
be-
almost like a couple of seasons ago, Man U won a penalty shootout against the
Yeah,
team.
that one was
And Anthony was
different.
literally
Yeah.
celebrating
Okay, that
like
one was
against a
different.
lower
That one
division.
Before-
is a
Same
different
thing.
scenario.
Yeah.
It's a different scenario.
Chill.
Only the salary of Dalo completely covers the cost of the whole quantity.
Doesn't-
And you can just imagine that much difference. And
Wow.
there's no class.
No, there's class. It's part of
Okay, Henry and
Support my
Sean.
boys.
Henry and Sean. Yeah, before we go into another result, I wanted to ask you, Sean, as a Manchester United fan, it seems like everything or anyone that have like some kind of connection with Manchester United, they are really going through hard time because just as we all know, like 3 ex-Manchester United managers, got fired like over the weekend, even today. Or the likes of Mourinho, Ten Hag. What can you say about? Is that? I think I remember in one of our episodes you said maybe Man U is cost. Is Man U really cost? Sean?
Or maybe they are not good. Maybe they are just not good. Okay, fine. Let's say something didn't work well at Manchester United. You were sacked. Why didn't you make it work when the new
Where they went to?
So that means they're actually not good.
Ragnick, he made it. He made it work with Austria.
Austria. What does Austria want? What are they doing in Austria? What do you mean?
Are you-
Austria? He should come and coach a week in, week out football. He went to a national team. He told me he worked out. He's not working. I should come and coach a football.
Wait,
club.
did you
Let's
see
if it works
Austria
out.
before Ragnick took over and when he took over?
That's an international. Who are they playing?
What do you mean by
Maybe
that's
they're
an
playing
international? Is it not football?
Yeah.
They just think how for in the Euros,
I'm just
the
saying.
qualifiers for
I'm
Euros.
saying
The opponent does not
he
really
should come
matter
and
because
coach.
one thing about football now
He
is
should
that
come and
any team
coach.
can beat anybody. It is happening now. We've been saying it,
No,
and we will still continue
maybe
to say
for
that.
football, not international level.
International also a lot
International
of surprises. You
level.
never can tell.
It
But
doesn't
now,
happen that way.
okay.
It's
So
very low.
Henry, so tell me what can you say about this? Ex Manchester United manager being sacked.
And you know
I
what?
have a question for you
Okay.
that played as a player that played under Ferguson in this current era of football that made it as a coach.
I think that they are
To become a
they are
world-class.
actually struggling. The likes of
I don't know why.
Van
what are you trying to
Nistelrooy,
achieve?
Soja, and the rest.
Is
They're
it
actually
what are Alex
struggling.
Ferguson's fault that the players doesn't
Yes.
make it as a coach? Why?
Partly.
Why?
He was too big in the club that no one could learn anything of him. If you question his decision like Roy Keane did, he got you out of the club.
That is why they have UEFA coaching school. You go to coaching school, go obtain your license, then be a coach.
How is it that other great managers, Johan Cruyff, they had players that played under them and turned out to be good managers? Even Wenger had he has
Yeah.
players currently that are managing that.
Who mention
There's Fabregas there.
Yeah.
There's Vieira. That's doing well.
How many times have they sacked
Okay, no.
Vieira?
What do you mean?
How many times have they sacked Vieira? Tell me.
Can you compare to Gary Neville?
The only coach wants to then
he never.
he stopped being a coach. He
Oh,
started as a pundit.
what of
The same
Rooney?
thing with Rooney. He has gone to two.
All Manchester United players.
Scotia has succeeded as a coach. He
Wait.
had a good win rate at Manchester United.
Okay.
What has he won? What has he won?
What has Fabregas won? What has Vieira won? So it's the same thing. The same thing with Scotia. He had a very good win rate at Besiktas. Even before he left Manchester United, he had a very good win rate. The same thing with this guy, Van Nistelrooy. Before he left PSG, or was it Feyenoord? Van Nistelrooy, before he came back to England to coach at Leicester City, he had a very good win rate at Holland, at the Netherlands. So
Who
what are you telling me?
is interested in what happens in Holland?
Wow.
At least you said
If you
what
become
have
the
they achieved?
manager of PSG, you're also going to win the league.
Yeah, so don't tell me they do not have the.
So nobody, don't tell me anything
Don't tell me they have
about
not been a good
they all,
coach.
all they do
been a
is
good
become
coach.
pundits, criticize the players that are playing. That's what they do. That's what they do. They just try to bring
It's not everybody that will make it as a coach. You
associated
can
with the
be
club.
a pundit. It's not necessarily you have to be a coach.
So how is it possible that you've coached for 30 years and not even one of your player turned out to be a world-class manager?
They might not be interested.
What
They
do you
ask,
mean
for
by- how is it
example, Ronaldo said he doesn't have any interest to be in a
How
coach.
is it
It's not
possible
everybody that
you
will
coach
be a
for
coach.
30 years and
He
not even
doesn't
one?
mean. He doesn't.
Well,
Okay, right.
I think
Do you
I would say
let me
it's
ask you a
not.
question. If
Well, I
Frankie-
would say it's not.
understand.
It's not.
I can't really
It's
understand.
complete. It's not. It's not actually Sir Alex
Not everybody
Ferguson's
has
fault.
an- yeah,
To
it
be
can never
honest,
be
You
Ferguson.
we
can't
cannot.
coach-
We
you can't
cannot
coach for
put. We
30
cannot
years
put
and
the
don't
blame
have
on
one
Sir
player.
Alex Ferguson. I would say
Nah,
because
there's something wrong there.
he cannot decide for whoever want to be a manager or not. Everybody just have to follow their own path.
So
we can't really blame Ferguson for that.
why can you not have one player? I'm not saying you need to have a lot of players. One player, you've coached for 30 years. You've coached approximately over 1,000 players.
Okay,
even more.
wait. What?
And
Wait.
At least
You
I've
still don't know what will happen
mentioned
tomorrow.
Scotia. I've mentioned Van Nistelrooy.
Which club is going to hire Solskjaer? If it's not, if
He's
it's
just
not
left
Besiktas,
Besiktas, one of the top team in top.
they're not in the top 2.
At least top 3, top 4.
If you
Wow.
now,
Which team is Fabregas coaching in Italy?
Which club?
Como.
Which club is
Which
going
team
to
is
hire?
Como? Which team
That's
is
his first
Martin
club.
Vieira? It doesn't mean.
That's his first
Okay.
club, and he has been
Scotia has
touted.
been two or
He has
three
been
top.
touted. He has been touted to sign for Barcelona at some point.
Okay, now.
And even if
Scotia also coached
he has
Manchester
been
United.
touted,
So
he
I think
has
he's
been
coaching a bigger
touted to
club.
come to Arsenal at some point also.
But he's not there.
So we waiting.
You can't be acting on future or
The
what
same
might
way,
be. What
that's
might
the same
have
way
been.
Xabi Alonso
What might have
started.
been.
That's the same
Where's
way
Xabi Alonso today now?
It's Madrid.
Okay, no, I thought you said Xabi Hernandez.
No, it's hard, man. Okay,
Xabi Hernandez even
now.
won the league for Barcelona.
He won the
Yeah, he
league,
won
but
the
now
league,
he's out
yeah.
of job.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he got sacked.
Okay.
He got sacked from his own Barcelona.
Zidane won 3 Champions League. He's out of job.
He
Correct.
left. There's
He
no
left
between-
what?
He left. He wasn't sacked. He
He
left.
didn't leave. They had
I think
a-
I
There's a
actually
difference
think
between
anybody
sack
can
and
actually be out of job.
They have
It
a-
can be due to so
decided,
many
of course,
There's a
reasons.
reason why he has not gotten a job till now.
Yeah, I know.
And that reason I'm not going to say. We all know.
Okay, wait. Now, before we move into all these transfer buhara and the rest, let's try to let's talk about the result between Everton and Wolves, and this actually brings me to this particular player. Everton won 3-2, yes, but Jack Grealish, I think he has rediscovered his form. He started to contribute to the team by assisting. Now, do you think Henry? Do you think Jack Grealish move to Everton is actually a very good one for him, and do you think maybe Manchester City is actually too big for him, and that's why? I understand that at some point he had injury, because I remember when he first came, he also had a very good, form. And I think in his first season, that was when Manchester City actually won the Champions League, when they won the treble. So what
No, it's his second year.
was this second year?
Yeah.
Okay, in the second year. So now, what can you say about Jack Grealish? And do you think he's actually, enjoying the moment here now at Everton? Because I think I also saw, Haaland supporting him, wishing him well in Everton. What's your take on
Obviously,
that?
he's a great lad. He's good for the team morale, good for the team. He's a team player. Every manager loves to have those kind of players in the team. However, personally, from a sporting point of view, in terms of output, he was bought for 100 million, I think euros or pounds.
Yeah.
And if you're going to give, unfortunately, that's the way football works now. If you're going to give 7 goals and 3 assists every year for £100 million, you're going to come under some form of criticism. Unfortunately, that is what it is. And I think that him as a player, he's a good player, but he's not a match winner. And match winners usually go for that prizes of 100 million. He's not a match winner. He can be a part of a functioning team, but he's not a match winner. And Man City were in a phase where the team wasn't really functioning, and obviously someone has to pay the price. And if you're being bought for 100 million, you're gonna definitely share a large portion.
But don't you think Guardiola could have sacrificed Doku instead?
Personally, the way Man City wants to play, I think that Doku would have been a better choice starting than Grealish. The way he wants to play now, from what I see, he wants to be a bit more direct than just moving the ball around, because it didn't work last season. They tried to do it, it didn't work, and it's not working. That's what they did very well in the last couple of years, but now it's not working anymore. So he wants to switch it up and be having like 2 really direct wingers. So I think in that form, Doku is better. But again, like I said, Grealish is better suited for a mid-table team, or a team that
I don't like hearing his statement.
or a team that because the pressure is too much in big teams. Like if you don't deliver, it's not like you can score this week and then you don't score again, or you don't assist in like 5 games and then you do it again, and then maybe at the end of the season you get like 7 goals and like 7 assists, and they'll be like, oh, he had a great season. It's not going to work if you play in City, because the pressure is on. You need to deliver every week or every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, the pressure is on, and I don't think that he's suited for that kind of pressure. So I think he does better where the pressure is a bit lesser, in like teams like Everton, the former Villa. I think it's not that he had great stats. If you look back at statistics, I don't think he had great stats at Villa. So I don't know what people were really expecting. You don't buy someone that has 8 goals and expect him to score 25.
I was going to say
No, it's not. I mean, obviously, it doesn't happen that way. There has to be some traits that you've seen that you think, okay, maybe he has gotten maybe 15 goals. You think you can squeeze out extra 5 from him to see he can make it 20.
Okay.
But obviously, that was not it.
Thank you, Henry. Now, Shion, going back to the discussion about Jack Grealish, but I wanted to ask you, because Henry made a statement that maybe because Guardiola felt that Doku's style, fit based on how he wanted to play, maybe it fit really well. But my question is that, I've seen some critics, spoke about Doku, like Doku, the way he played is very bad, because, when he has the ball on his feet, he's not always looking up. He just, so that, because, as a winger, they expect that you should, find the striker, give them the ball. But with Doku's style, it's very difficult, because even, I think there was a point, even Thierry already said something like that when you just keep focusing on the ball on the ground, then you will not be able to know the right time, to pass to like the striker. So what can you say about Doku's style of play and in comparison to Jack Grealish? And do you think Guardiola should have sacrificed Doku instead of Grealish?
Yeah, for me, I think he should have sacrificed Doku instead of Grealish. I mean, they saw something in him before they went ahead to spend 100 million quid on him from Aston Villa. And before they bought him, it's not like he was scoring 25 goals or 20 goals. So, and him being at Aston Villa, he was a star man. Every ball goes through him. But coming to City, of course, City is a star-studded team. So the ball, it wasn't the one dictating the ball. They had the likes of Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne,
Sterling, and
so yeah. So he had. I feel like Guardiola should have at least let him play his game. And don't forget, football is a psychological game. If you are playing and knowing fully well that if I do not play well today, tomorrow I might be on the bench, there's no way you'll be able to be more productive. So if Guardiola had actually believed in him more, like, okay, fine, don't worry, you don't just play your game, and he knows that, okay, fine, whatever it is I play today, I'm going to play tomorrow. I feel like Jack Grealish could have been more better player at Man City. So Doku, for me, if I am the coach, I won't start Doku.
What you're saying is that you don't want competition in a team.
That's what I say. I mean, they spent 100 million. 100 million.
Said,
So
If you're not playing,
if you have a bad game, there's always a bad game.
he had a bad season.
Of course, how many
He
minutes
had
did
two
he
bad
play?
seasons, not
How
one.
many minutes did he? 2 seasons.
No,
How many
the
minutes?
first season he played after they won the Champions League. He was the starting. He was the starting
Yeah,
man.
and
The
he
next
played.
season.
I mean,
They
they
had
won the
a-
Champions
they
League.
had
He played.
a-
It wasn't like he should be scoring because before you bought him, he wasn't scoring a lot of goals. So he
had
was
a-
contributing to the team.
He had a
Until
horrible
the second
season the next year.
Yeah, they started benching him.
Yeah, obviously, what will happen if you have somebody?
But if
If
that had
you-
happened at Aston Villa, let's say he had a bad game today, tomorrow, he will still start the next game. Or now he will pick up the form.
Yeah.
So that's not the case in Man City. If you have bad game, 1 or 2 games, you will be benched.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Okay,
you will
now
succeed.
Henry, this question is actually
If you're a world-class
the two
player,
of
you will not have 10 games that are bad. I don't think
Yeah.
when the
There's
boy
no
was
even chance to even have 10 games. I don't think he had up to 10 games. 2 or 3 games he will bench. There are a lot of players.
no,
who
it
will
wasn't
bench.
like it wasn't like that initially. It wasn't like that.
No, actually, I think Guardiola used to. When Guardiola actually
he
believes
put-
in you,
he
he
put
try to
confidence in him.
make sure that
He didn't
it
repay
gives you
it.
some
And I
time.
think
That's
was
why I
fair.
said, at Liverpool, Aston Villa before he came, he was a star man. He was the one that
Yeah.
played in the game. But at Man City, no.
It's different,
And
yeah.
you should know Guardiola. If you are in Guardiola, you don't put too much ball in your legs. Play with the team.
Yeah.
And you know, Aston Villa, this guy he likes to hold the ball too much on his leg. That's before he leaves his ball. So,
Okay, now
Man
to
City.
you, Henry, and also Sean, this question now: do you think if Jack Grealish, should continue with his rich form like this with Everton by the end of the season, would you advise him to just make it loan deal permanent, or you want him to return back to Manchester City?
I think for his personal development,
Yeah.
I would not advise him to go back to Man City. Also, I don't think that if he's that ambitious, then he shouldn't stay at Everton. I don't know. He needs to know how good he is.
Do you agree with Henry? Do you agree with Henry?
Right now, the way the fans are treating that Everton is loved there. So I would advise him make the deal permanent. So maybe for 1 or 2 seasons, if you actually keep
How
up.
old do you think he is?
It doesn't mean you can still find it.
He's almost steady.
So-
1 or 2 seasons. The next thing is Sunderland.
I mean, at least for the low now, no way we'll still play in 1 season here. He will play 1 season. So I mean, if he keeps up with the performance, you can speak with his agent, then look for another team. Might not be in England. It might be somewhere far away from England. Then move.
Yeah, I don't know what his motivation is.
Yeah.
It depends on if he feels like I've won the Champions League, I don't think I need to struggle
Like
much.
maybe just fighting for the
He can
World
stay at
Cup.
Everton. If he thinks that I want to challenge
Position.
myself, because I don't see any of the big 4 teams or big 6 teams in England taking him.
Of course.
He's not good.
That's why I say he has to move away from.
It's not better than any of the wingers in any of those teams right now. I think that maybe he can go to Inter Milan or Juventus or something like that.
But I feel like if he keeps up with this performance, he might make the World Cup next year. Maybe that might be his motivation.
Okay. Now let's quickly, talk briefly about transfer window. As we all know, today is like the end of the transfer summer signing, and considering the players, all the clubs have signed so far, and considering the rumor flying around in terms of like maybe players, and of course I want to believe that overnight there will be a lot of surprise by players moving from one club to the other. So but if I want to ask you now, Sean, as a Manchester United fan, Henry also, do you think are you expecting your club to sign any player just for to make sure that you guys have the team that is actually ready to challenge for this season?
As a United fan, I mean, they've made a new signing of the goalkeeper, the department of goalkeeping now. I think
So you think with the goalkeeper arrival, you guys are ready now?
I would want them to sign a midfielder, like a DM, a defensive midfielder. Well, Manchester United, the news. I don't think they will make any more signing. Even with that, like I said last time, even with what we have currently, I feel like if we get it right, we can still compete with what we have. To be honest, we might not collect the league, we might not win the league, but at least making European football next season. Not even Conference League, maybe from Europa. Europa is Champions League. Something we should do with the squad we have currently. To be honest, with the squad we have, to be honest, we don't have any. Like I said, we don't have any excuse.
Which squad do you have?
We have players.
You're 1 injury away from
Henry.
So if Mbemo gets injured, what happens?
Ahmad will move to the position.
So Cunha is out now. Who plays there? Mason Mount. You're back to
Mason
last
Mount
season.
is also injured.
You're back to last season.
Mason Mount is also
Okay.
injured.
So I don't know what you mean by the squad you have. You don't have a big squad. You don't have a really the squad is not that great. You're just one or two injuries, which will happen for sure, away from being a
And then we
disaster
go back
again.
to lamenting, right? Is that what you are saying?
One or two injuries away from disaster.
We have got.
We got the back
that
in
might
the same
not be.
midfield.
Of course, you don't have any choice. As I said,
That's the problem we had last season. You want to go back to the same problem. As I say, you're just one or two injuries away, and it will happen for sure. It will happen.
Okay,
don't forget that we
injuries
just sold some of our players also. The likes of Garnacho just left. So of course that was
It was
not
not part of the team.
No, I'm not saying like the money we made from the sale of the sale of Garnacho. So at least that will afford us to sign maybe January transfer window because I don't see them.
Between now and January,
That's a long time to go. 4 months. It's a long time to come.
it takes. I don't think players move freely in January transfer. You don't
Yeah,
have
there are some
season.
kind of limitations,
There's-
especially,
it's
and
so
you cannot
difficult
even get like the
to
best guys. You
I feel
know?
like the Europe for a bigger club. I mean, Manchester City signed Omar Mamouche in January.
It's not. It didn't really do much.
At least he tried.
It didn't really do
He
much.
helped the team.
It didn't do
It
much.
was because Man City were in crisis. That was why it
Sorry,
made it
yeah.
look like they didn't do much. At least, so my point is, if Manchester are actually showing a great signs, players will want to come. Like, okay, fine, I can trust this project.
So Henry, do you think your team need to sign, any additional signing so that for the season?
Yes, we need two centre backs to start with. Also, we just heard that the McGay deal is off, so I don't know what we do with that. But however, on the other hand, we can't rely on Ruben Diaz and John Stones for the season. So I have two teams in the Premier League.
Wait. What did I just? I think Henry is a confused person. To be honest, exactly. No. That is not allowed. We need to know where you are staying. Where is your stand? Are you supporting Liverpool or are you supporting Manchester City? Now you are even putting on Bayern Munich shirt. We need to know. You cannot be sitting on the fence. Who are you rooting for now? Tell us now, so that by the end of the season we can hold you accountable.
I'm rooting for the winners.
No, there's something like the winner. You just, of course, but it's to me, I can call you like a prostitute, because you just keep moving from one.
Yeah, we're that friend.
Exactly. So, which is not really good enough. Like Sheo now, he's a Manchester United fan. Come rain, come sunshine. He has been going through a lot recently, and yet, he's still he's stuck with the team. So, and that's how it's supposed to be.
I'm a Bayern fan.
Henry's a confused friend. Okay, now let's move into. Let's quickly talk about the Spanish La Liga. Just like we also saw that last weekend. It was like a very interesting weekend.
Yeah.
Deportivo Alavés against Atletico Madrid, it ended 1-1 draw. Rayo Vallecano Barcelona also 1-1 draw. Even Real Madrid struggled to win 2-1 against Mallorca. Of course, they had like 2 goals disallowed due to VAR, but the final result is still, what is really important. So Shion, starting with Atletico Madrid, Deportivo Alavés, what can you say again? Because I remember the last time you were like, maybe they should sack Diego Simon. So now, what is your reaction to the
Honestly,
to the
by
result?
this time, I don't know why there isn't any speculation about Diego Simon being sacked. Honestly, how can you have 3 points from 3 games? That's absurd. Like you have been sacked. To be honest, I think he needs to change his approach. Honestly,
chameleon.
he needs to change his approach. Like all the olden day tactics, everything. Football has changed. You have to move to the new school. If you think it's 4-2-3-1 that work,
It needs to evolve.
Not the 4-2-1 striker, one winger that can make a cross, one that can dribble. It needs to change the approach, or if not, they might not even make top for this season. To be honest.
So you mean he's still playing in the traditional way?
Yeah, I think he needs to change his ways.
Henry, what's your reaction?
Like I said, I have no sympathy. I'll say it again. I have no sympathy for Simeone. He lives by defending, he will die by defending. That's what it is. I have no sympathy for him. However, I don't think he should be sacked because he has done a lot for Atletico Madrid. I think that he should decide that at the end of this season he is to walk away. That would be a fair way of calling it an end. I don't think that he should be sacked because he has given a lot to this club, considering where they were before he came and then what he has done for them. However, the money that has been invested in this club over the last couple of years, they should be getting more than they are getting right now. They have spent more money than Barcelona has spent, so I think that they should be doing better than what they're doing right now. And unfortunately, that's not the case because his style of game is archaic. He's the last of the dinosaurs of managers left. Mourinho, I don't know why he's still lingering around. I heard him in the press conference.
You know how much he has made from research.
I heard him in the press conference saying that he would, when he leaves Fenerbahce, he will go to a team that is not playing in Europe, in the Premier League. Man.
Do you think it's because he wants to make more money before retirement, or why do you think he just wanted to go?
Before
the game leaves you. Okay, now let's talk about Rayo Vallecano Barcelona 1-1 draw, Henry. So let me start with you as a
Messi
FC and some maybe Barcelona supporter. What can you say?
Let's get this right. I like Messi doesn't mean I'm Barcelona. I don't have any affiliation with Barcelona.
Okay.
I don't care if they win or if they don't win. Okay. It's none of my business if they win or they don't win. I only was interested in Barcelona when Messi was there.
Okay.
As soon as
just like you said, he's a prostitute. He always keep moving from one club to the other. Okay, now so tell me your reaction. Rayo Vallecano 1, Barcelona 1.
So basically, that game, I don't think it was a surprise. If you have known the history of Vallecano against Barcelona at that stadium, it has always been a problem.
That stadium is nowhere near.
It has always been a problem for Barcelona. The pressure, the intensity that they give, and
But don't you think maybe they could have, change the situation this last weekend, considering that Lamine Yamal scored first Barcelona 1-0. Then
it's controversial. Controversial goal. It wasn't a penalty. Even the goal wasn't a penalty. But
I had people say the same thing for Manchester
United. If you check this one, what happened was the VAR machine wasn't working. So there's no way they could check the penalty through VAR. If the VAR machine were to be working, they would have cancelled the penalty.
So what happened to Chelsea's game and Fulham? Was the VAR machine working?
It was working, but that wasn't. They made a mistake. The PGO they came outside to say they made a mistake.
Yeah, so you don't think that if the VAR machine was available, they would have still not.
Then would have be sure that Barcelona have paid this thing already.
So are you saying Chelsea paid the referee?
For the referees to have come outside and say they made a mistake, so I don't think they. That was what.
And do you think that is fair for Fulham? Considering that,
that's like I told you the last time. Like football is not fair. Yeah. So the guy that was the VAR, the referee, was supposed to be the one to also be at the Liverpool versus Arsenal game. So because of the mistake he made, they had to suspend him. No, you won't be the one to be at it. So they recognize that the mistake and
okay. So what can you say about the result? Rayo Vallecano Barcelona.
Yeah, I think Barcelona, they were the downfall of themselves. They could have finished off the game within 15-20 minutes, like 3-4-0. But they were being wasteful in front of goals. They had chance. They were being selfish. They were but there were some balls that Rafinha could have scored. He decided to pass. There's some boy who should have passed. He decided to shoot it anyway. So they wasted so many chances before those ones got themselves. And I don't know, maybe that's the situation of the Vallecano Stadium, because that place is no way to me. But that place is very bad. Maybe it's a tactic from them to play against Barcelona to beat them, because I feel like that stadium is not a stadium they wet before they played that game. It was very dried. You need to see how Barcelona players were just falling down. And so I feel like they played that as well.
Eri, what can you say about the match between Real Madrid and Mallorca 2-1?
It should have been more than 2-1. Unfortunately, they had a couple of. I don't even know how that Adagula's goal was. A handball. His hand close to his body. Some of these rules are just outrageous. It's just appalling. Like the players have said, the game is gone. The game is gone.
I want to make, should I say, it's a statement or something. Like, some of these referees are dumb. Once they make some decisions, like this is a penalty or this is a goal, they feel like once the person at the VAR office calls them to go and check in on the VAR machine, it means that they should change their decision. It doesn't have to be every time. If you go there and you feel like this thing is still a goal or still a penalty, stand by your decision. But most times, like 90% of the time, most of these referees, they change the decision. Because going forward to check the Adagula's goal, this guy has his arms on his chest. There's no way you should have.
No, I think it's about interpretation of the law. I think that the interpretation of the law I think there was a season in Champions League where they said like no matter what happens, if the ball
It's your
touches
hand.
your hand,
Yeah.
the goal is going to be chalked off. You know, so I think that those laws need to be fine-tuned,
Yeah.
like to a reasonable standpoint of view. Because literally, if the ball touches my hand, but my hand is in a very natural position,
It's the same law that says
like, I don't think if
When you have your hand to
yeah,
the body.
with your hand, no problem.
Yeah.
And if the ball direction won't change
Yeah.
by your hand, the ball should stand.
the funny thing is that the funny thing is that if it happens to the defending team, they wouldn't
They
give a
won't give
penalty.
penalty. They'll say the
They will say the hand is in the natural position.
So why?
So like the laws, it's just
Are you saying the decision makers are confused or what?
yes. I think that the laws are just a bit
The
too-
Fulham game, for example, the referee already blew a goal. It was when they called him to check the VAR. That was when he changed his decision. So that was why I said sometimes you have to use your IQ. Like this was actually a goal.
Okay, thank you, Sean and Henry. Now let's move into the German Bundesliga. So I'm going to start with you, Henry, since you are wearing a Bayern Munich shirt. So let's talk about Augsburg versus Bayern Munich result. 3-2. From 3 goals down, then these people were able, Augsburg, they were able to score 2 goals. What's your reaction to that?
easy win. Like I said earlier.
Do you think it's easy considering the match ended 3-2?
And yeah, they should have equalized if they wanted to, if they could. They couldn't. I think it was 3-0. Bayern took their foot off the gas. And yeah, they scored 2, but I don't think the game was never really in doubt that they were going to win that.
Sean, what's your reaction to the match results between the two
They won
sides?
3-2. It was from 3-0. If they were going to give them a tough time, it should have been from 3-0 down. I mean, they even tried scoring 2 from. So there's no way they would have actually seen a draw against Bayern Munich. So
Wow.
they should be thankful that they at least got 2.
The score consolation goes, right? Okay, now, Sean, again, let me ask you. Bayer Leverkusen, Werder Bremen, 3-3 draw game. Then I think that was what led to the sack of the manager, Erik Ten Hag. So what can you say to that?
Don't even say Ten Hag is not good. Because
No, I won't say it's not good. To be honest, I won't say it's not good because
Considering they sold majority of their star players.
I think the only reason why they maybe sacked him is he didn't have a good preseason.
Don't you think it's too early?
I think it's too
what do you
early.
mean by didn't have a good preseason?
I mean, he lost to under 20. Was it Flamengo
That
under
was
20?
under 6-17 now.
No,
That
he
was not-
used his own full squad. Go and check the game.
I checked it.
Boniface, Patrick Schick.
Sean, now let me ask you: do you think the owner of Bayer Leverkusen, do you think they actually made the right decision, or do you think they were in so much haste getting Erik Ten Hag fired?
I think
in the beginning of the season.
both ways. Checking what Ten Hag has done from Manchester United, so maybe getting him away as early as match day 2 maybe is a good thing for them. But don't let us forget that they sold 7 or 8 of their key players. So what magic were they expecting him to perform without getting him the tools to work with? So I mean, if they are giving him players to work with and he's still not performing well, it would have been fair for them to sack him. But to be honest, I don't think it is fair on him.
Okay. Henry, what's your reaction to that?
I think it shows the incompetence of the recruiting team at Leverkusen. If you employ a manager, that means you went through a recruiting process. You looked at other candidates and you decided that this is the man that you're employing, and you sack him after 2 games of the season. Then it shows that you either didn't do your homework well, and I think that whoever recruited him should be fired also. I don't think Ten Hag should go alone. I think whoever is responsible for the recruiting process, they should also be fired if that is the case. Because I don't see how you give a manager 2 games and you sack him. He had drawn 1 game and he lost 1 game. It's not even really a completely bad. It's not like he lost both games 4-0, 5-0. He lost 1 game and he drew 1 game. So it's not like the team, and they scored 3 goals in that game. So it's not like they are completely trash. You sold 90% of the starting 11.
Yeah.
You sold 90%. That is a completely new team for this guy. You should give him time. You give him at least
Okay, maybe
10, maybe 15 games. You give him to December.
we just keep our fingers crossed there. Okay, thank you, Henry. Thank you, Shay. It's nice to have you guys in the studio again today. It's been an interesting conversation.
Yes.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching. We love you guys. Like, comment, and please reshare. We love you guys.
See you another time, guys. Peace.
Peace out.